Chair, Board of Trustees, the Honorable Justice Daniel Musinga, Board of Trustees, the Chancellor of International Leadership University, Dr. Farai Kasande, the Vice Chancellor of International Leadership University, Dr. Timothy Kirui, Chair, University Council, Dr. George Kimeu, members of the university community, the graduating class of 2021, families and friends, our online audience, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me convey fraternal greetings to all who are gathered physically and virtually for this auspicious occasion. It gives me immense pleasure to be in your midst as we celebrate the performance of the 2021 class of this great institution that is committed to develop leaders of integrity who will lead holistic societal transformation guided by biblical values. I appreciate this God-given opportunity to speak to the graduating leaders, university leadership, academic and non-academic staff, ongoing students, family and friends of the graduates. I can imagine the excitement throbbing in the heart of each graduate as you come together to celebrate your success after several years of hard work. I join you in celebration. You are congrats. Congratulations to all International Leadership University graduates today. Your victory is a testament to your discipline, resilience, and working smart. Indeed, knowledge without values is futile, and I congratulate ILU for their training designed to prioritize, among other things, good stewardship of resources and societal transformation based on enduring values for inclusive well-being and sustainable development. These are the kind of leaders Kenya and Africa at large need to drive lasting impact and transformation. When COVID-19 ravaged the world last year, life drastically changed. This virtual graduation is different from previous physical ones for lack of the usual pomp, color, and ceremony. The graduates have not been able to bring a busload from their village to witness their graduation. We cannot dance, ululate, and take photos as is the custom during this significant milestone. But does that make your virtual graduation less important? Not at all. I encourage you to celebrate in ways that are compatible with COVID-19 protocols. Don't fail to take photos in your graduation gown for memories. And do not forget, a photo when you're wearing a mask will be a souvenir for your children and grandchildren. Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, over time humanity has faced and continues to face many pandemics and catastrophes such as the Great Depression of 1929 to 1939, world wars, HIV/AIDS, the recent global financial crisis, climate change, and now COVID-19. The economic and social disruption caused by the COVID pandemic is devastating, causing the death of millions, closure of businesses, and loss of jobs, livelihoods, and savings. Unfortunately, this is the unwelcome space you are entering as you graduate today. To encourage you, each global, national, and other challenge presents a silver lining to be exploited. It will be your responsibility to join other leaders and the citizenry at large to provide solutions to the challenges at hand. Let us remember, after Job had lost everything, his unwavering belief in God led to his full restoration and more. In Job 42:2, Job acknowledges of the Lord, "I know that you can do all things. No plan of yours can be thwarted." No doubt, the International Leadership University has molded, mentored, and imparted in you essential leadership content and values to face the pandemic and its attendant challenges with courage and hope. At difficult times, leaders have emerged and transformed lives with significant social and scientific innovative solutions. For example, doctors and other health personnel have bravely fought COVID-19 pandemic, with many getting infected, some even losing their lives. Yet, despite the risk, they relentlessly sacrifice to give hope to patients. Their selfless work exemplifies the universal values of faith, hope, and love enunciated in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. Class of 2021, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to speak about reigniting hope in the pandemic through a transformative leadership of integrity. Integrity is a one word that is invoked a lot, but rare in practice. It is the state of being whole and undivided. For me, integrity is about knowing that I cannot hide any thought, action, or inaction from God, and as such, when I deviate from His commands, I have transgressed against integrity. At the end of his judgeship, the prophet Samuel was able, as recorded in 1 Samuel chapter 12, 2b to 5, to challenge gathered Israel as follows. And I quote, "I have been your leader from my youth until this day. Here I stand. Testify against me in the presence of the Lord and His anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Whose donkey have I taken? Whom have I cheated? Whom have I oppressed? From whose hand have I accepted a bribe to make me shut my eyes? If I've done any of this, I will make it right." You have not cheated or oppressed us, they replied. You have not taken anything from anyone's hand. Samuel said to them, "The Lord is my witness against you, and also His anointed is witness this day, that you have not found anything in my hand." He is witness, they said. From Samuel's life, we can learn in his entire career, he was a man of unquestionable integrity. It means you and me can follow his example. He had no qualms subjecting himself in the presence of the Lord and his family to the entire community that he led to hold him accountable. He was ready to compensate for any wrongdoing. By invoking the name of the incoming king as a witness, Samuel wished Saul would exercise the same level of integrity during his rulership. Samuel was similarly inviting the population to hold their future king to accountability. Today, few people can be said to be living a life of integrity. In our country, Africa, and elsewhere in the world, corruption and other manifestations of lack of integrity are the norm. Recently, President Uhuru Kenyatta shocked us by revealing that the country loses 2 billion shillings daily through corruption and wastage. Even in biblical times, integrity was rare. Sin predisposes man and woman to being selfish and unwilling to be accountable to himself or herself, to others, and to God. This is because accountability exposes our weakness and makes us vulnerable. And this is not a welcome feeling to most of us. God said of David, he was a man after God's own heart, in Samuel 13:14 and Acts 13:22. And yet the same David committed adultery with the wife of Uriah, his servant, and further David caused the death of Uriah the soldier. Remember, God punished David, the man after God's own heart, for his sins. Integrity is the backbone of transformative or servant leadership. Such is the leadership that Jesus Christ taught his disciples, as recorded in Matthew chapter 20, 25b to 28 as follows. You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for the many. If the man God could be a servant to man and woman, then secular leaders must defer to and serve the citizen. That is what Christ taught us. If exercised, godly leadership will transform the people and their countries. Leadership is therefore how power is exercised to benefit those whom you serve. In his book, Playing God, Redeeming the Gift of Power, published 2017, Andy Crouch writes, power at its best is resurrection to full life, to full humanity. Whenever human beings become what they were meant to be, that is before the fall, when even death cannot finally hold its prisoners, then we can truly speak of power. Power at its worst is the unmaker of humanity, breeding in humanity in the hearts of those who wield power, denying and denouncing the humanity of the ones who suffer under power. Therefore, as you enter the marketplace, you are duty-bound to exercise power as an act of love. How do youth in our country and perhaps the continent relate to integrity and transformative leadership, one may ask? Unfortunately, the findings in a study that I'm going to share do apply even to the middle-aged and the old. In 2016, the East African Institute of the Aga Khan University did a survey in Kenya to understand the values, attitudes, concerns, and aspirations of young people between the ages of 18 and 35. At the time of the survey, it was reported that out of 1,854 respondents interviewed, 50% believe it doesn't matter how one makes money as long as one does not end up in jail. 47% admire those who make money through hook or crook. 30% believe corruption is profitable. 73% are afraid to stand up for what is right for fear of retribution. Only 40% strongly believe that it is important to pay taxes. 35% of the youth would readily take or give a bribe. The researchers also noted that the association between hard work and success declines dramatically with the level of education. 83% of youth with only a primary education believe that they will succeed if they work hard, compared to 50% of youth with postgraduate education. These findings indicate that integrity among young people, and paradoxically the educated, is not significantly valued. The interviewed youth believed it did not matter how they raised their livelihood. In a recent focus group discussion on integrity in Makueni, a young person wondered why she should refuse to pay a bribe to get a job, since if she didn't, someone else would pay and get the job. Like her, young people, and the not so young, may wonder of what benefit it is to hold on to their integrity and suffer while they can make a concession and life moves on. After all, they argue, everyone does it anyway. And I would say, before you surrender that something small, count the costs and see whether you are ready to go all the way. If today you pay a bribe and tomorrow the same person demands sexual other favors, what ground will you have to refuse? And if the following day they ask that you sign a document to embezzle the organization's funds, will you have the confidence to say no? You start with what you deem to be an innocent act, and you end up ruining your life and the lives of others. Of course, if you run foul of the law, your boss will distance himself or herself from your activities. They will say you must, quote, quote, carry your cross alone. Is it worth it? I think not at all. So then, how do you handle pressure? We will learn from 4 young men in the Bible who chose to do what was right. As you know, they are Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. They came from the royal family and nobility of Israel. King Nebuchadnezzar, upon capturing Judah, ordered young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace. That's Daniel chapter 1:4. Instead of feeding on the choice food and wine assigned by the king, Daniel and his colleagues preferred a diet of vegetables and water because they did not wish to defile themselves through a life of privilege. At the end of 10 days, Daniel and his 3 colleagues looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. Moreover, God gave them knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning. Ultimately, the king was pleased with the 4 young men and took them into his service. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were as educated as you are. They were in their youth, as many of you are, and they could have taken the seemingly easier route of complying with King Nebuchadnezzar's values and instructions. However, they believed the privilege offered by the foreign king's court would compromise their faith and integrity. As you start looking for a job or other opportunities, make resolutions based on your value system. Decide what you're not ready to give up, irrespective of the offer. Think ahead what you would do if faced with a compromising situation. When the situation comes, devise a strategy that does not compromise your values and give it a try. Daniel and his friends did not just go to the official to say they will strike. They will not eat the food and he should find something else for them. They went with a solution: vegetables and water. Be bold and present your proposal. You never know God may surprise you with a welcome response. If your request is declined, maintain your resolve. Another door will be open. Remember, Joseph, while in Egypt, flew from the temptation presented by Potiphar's wife. He was sent to prison, and God lifted him from prison to be the Pharaoh's prime minister, from where he saved Israel from famine. Surround yourself with friends who share values with you. Do not be a lone ranger. You need people who can encourage you when you are down and rejoice with you when you are doing well. People who will not judge you irrespective of what you do or go through. Start with your family. When all is said and done, family will always be on your side. When God places you in a place of responsibility, give it your best. Do an excellent job to finality, not expecting that someone will perfect it. Distinguish yourself. Let your boss know that he or she can trust you and you do not need supervision or you need minimal supervision. Luke 16:10 tells us that if you are faithful with little, Luke 16:10 tells us that if we are faithful with little, we can be entrusted with more. Today, you will be conferred not only with degrees and diplomas, but most importantly, the power to research and read. Commit yourself to lifelong inquiry. Always build on the knowledge you have acquired. Translate good ideas into action. Ideas that can't be implemented will not birth transformation. Always ask yourself, what have I gained from ILU? How different am I now from when I came in? How will I build upon my new safe to a higher self? In whatever you do, always reflect, how do I serve God by serving others? Even in a foreign land, Daniel and his friends were asking how they would serve their God and through him serve Babylonians. Service to God through humanity is the ultimate value. The money you get from formal or self-employment or any other preoccupation is important but secondary. Be a leader wherever you are and in whatever you do. You are not a leader of tomorrow, but a leader of the present moment. Do not sit pretty, believing that political leaders will solve your problems for you. Young people must mobilize their agency, and also, of course, older people, to combat the problems that they have and the challenges in the society. Through social entrepreneurship, young people and others can create social enterprises which give them profit and solve societal problems of any kind and magnitude. There are many opportunities as there are social challenges. This has been amply demonstrated by the celebrated Nobel Prize winner Muhammad Yunus of Bangladesh. Ultimately, the path of self-reliance will lead you to faith in yourself and true independence. One of the opportunities that will present itself before you is volunteerism. I believe you have done this during your course of study, but make it a lifelong endeavor, whether you are formally employed or not. Volunteerism or philanthropy of self is sacrificial giving to one's community. It is also a school of learning about how to enter and deepen one's world of work. Today, many employers interview informally by watching you as you go about volunteering as well as doing your normal work. So, make volunteerism a norm. It will pay. Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to congratulate ILU for being a world-class university for advancing biblical values, academic excellence, and transformational leadership since 1981. I was pleasantly surprised that you have a mentorship program through which you follow your graduates to ensure they adhere to the values they have embraced in ILU. And I know one of your graduates is Honorable Aisha Jumwa, and I expect that ILU will follow her in our political journey to make sure that she can be an example for how politics are done right. As a country, we look forward to the completion of your Kitengela project, in which you're extending the university to a new 50-acre site. I salute your Hope Counseling Center and Leadership and Professional Center. This interface academic teaching and marketplace practice of what is taught in your university. This linkage of the academia, business, civil society, the professions, and government will guarantee African development. You strike me as a pioneer in this area. In Makueni, we have a counseling unit, perhaps the only one in the country so far, and I would at some point request that we partner with your counseling center so that you can deepen our work. Let me pose this question. Can our universities, from the word go, prepare their students for the marketplace? Can we debunk the notion of unemployable graduates who need further training to enter the market? A friend of mine recently described to me how a South Korean senior member of the then Kenya's National Economic and Social Council told him he paid for his university fees by undertaking an electrician's job because they were taught A-level physics from a practical standpoint, as opposed to only theory. The jury is still out on our recently launched competence-based curriculum, CBC. As a former seminary student, I have pondered about the possibility of Christian universities and colleges, as well as their para-church institutions, working together to promote social ministry, thereby offering a model for leadership, integrity, and development. If this happened, it would be one way of speaking truth, light, and salt to power and the citizen. Through such a concerted effort, these institutions founded on Christian principles can be a pillar in rebuilding our youth and country. At this juncture, allow me to thank on behalf of the graduates, their families, other relatives, the academic and non-academic staff for the invaluable support offered in your academic journey. Your parents and guardians did their best to provide for fees, upkeep, and other essentials. Your teachers have sharpened you to be at your present level, where now you are unleashed to the world of work and further studies. And as for continuing students, the relay baton has been passed to you. Follow on the footsteps of your predecessors and even do better. Help ILU strengthen its brand of integrity and transformative leadership. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2021. May God's wisdom and blessings accompany you wherever you go. I thank you all for your attention.